Hey everyone, my name is Robin Lewis. In my previous video where I had a look at these Pony Jorgensen clamps being brought to Australia by Timbecon, I got them out of the box, gave my very early impressions, and that was about it. But in this video, I want to dive a little deeper into some of the clamps and look at some of their features. And I want to talk about these clamps together because, especially if you're new to the clamp world, you may be looking at these going, well, they do the same thing. Why would I want one or the other? These are the Easy Hold expandable bar clamps, and these are the heavy duty steel I-bar clamps. So the first one we'll look at are these Easy Hold clamps. And what you're going to notice straight away is that the clamping force on these are much lower than these I-bar clamps. These are 300 pounds and these are 7,000. And the reason for that is the clutch mechanism in these types of clamps is very different to bar clamps like this. But the clutch mechanism on this has some real benefits, and that is, and this is probably one of the main reasons for using these clamps, is you can bring the clamp together one-handed. Where do you need to use one hand for clamping? Think of a pergola putting up a horizontal member 2.5 meters in the air from one post to another. Being able to do it one-handed, absolute lifesaver. So in terms of taking two boards and squeezing them together, both of these clamps do pretty much the same thing. The pads on these Easy Hold clamps are a fair bit deeper, so they do give you a bit more throw, but the clutch on these I clamps is a lot stronger. And now where things do start to differ, and again, this is particularly noticeable on these Easy Hold clamps, is what you can do with these clamps. There's a small button on the front pad over here that says push. If I click that, I can pull this off. I then move it around to the back side of the clamp, slide it on, push that back into place, and now I have a spreader. So this is perfect for example, if you are making a leg assembly for a table and you want to put a middle brace on one of the long rails and there's a bit of a bow, both of the rails are bowing in. You could take a clamp like this and squeeze that apart. So it's essentially a clamp but in reverse. Where these get pretty cool is if I take two of the clamps, I'll take the front pad out, flip it over. I'll do the same with the next one. There are these clips where you can slide them into each other. I now have a clamp that is twice as long as it was before. I could actually go as far as to even hold the clamp with one hand like this. So from a one-handed operation, you're going to have a pretty strong grip, but you can do it if you need that. So I am very excited to give these a go and do some testing with them. Now looking at the I-bar clamps, a very simple clamp. The mechanism is very simple, but it does what it does very well, and that is applying a lot of clamping pressure. The clamp mechanism is made up of two parts. On one end you have a screw thread, and on the other end you have a clutch made up of these pins. If you squeeze the pins towards the pad, you can then loosen it and slide it back. And then to bring it forward, you don't need to engage those spring-loaded pins, you simply push it forward. On the underside of these mechanisms are feet, so you can set up these clamps on a flat surface without the worry of them rolling away while you bring the workpiece to them, which is very convenient. The clutch mechanism on these are solid. That spring is really tight, but just the overall weight of it makes it feel very solid. I've used I-bar clamps like these in the past that were a lot cheaper, and you can feel the difference in that weight. And the good thing about that is that weight will translate into rigidity. So the steel that they're using in this bar is very high quality. So when you start cranking down, it's not going to flex, which happens with the cheaper ones. So in my workshop, these I-bar clamps get used 90% of the time when it comes to glue up. So these are going to get a lot of use. Coming up in a future video, I've got a project where I'm going to be putting all of these clamps to the test, as well as some spring clamps and some band clamps. Very excited about that, very excited to see how these go. But from my early impressions, I don't think they're going to have any issues standing up. All right, so my name is Robin Lewis. Thank you very much for watching. I can't wait to put all these clamps to the test in that project video. So keep an eye out for it, and I will see you there.